What's up, fam? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Today I want to give a requiem, a retrospective, an account of Baker Mayfield as he most assuredly will be crowned Oklahoma's 6th Heisman Trophy winner tonight at 7 on ESPN. And yet another useless college football award show where there's 55 minutes of trash, fam! And 5 minutes of utter glory when Baker Mayfield's gonna figure out just how heavy that Heisman Trophy is. So to celebrate that accomplishment, I'm going to give you 10, see, 10 stories and or facts and or anecdotes you probably don't know about Baker Mayfield. So there's an Easter egg in this video, and if you could tell me where it is and what it is in the comments below, I will call you out in the Monday mailbag. And no, I'm not going to tell you if you got it right or wrong until the Monday mailbag. I also want to talk a little bit about what would happen if I was defensive coordinator at OU and why I believe Obo being called a linebacker is a misnomer. He's not a linebacker. He's a speed pass rusher. And this is the kind of conversation that folks on Twitter got involved with, and we went back and forth for about 2 hours about this. Even Clark Beckham came to the table with great reasoning for why he believes that Obo's just a bad linebacker. You don't know who Clark Beckham is? Clark Beckham's awesome. He got robbed of American Idol. They finished runner-up. And my man's got pipes, fam. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, it's really cool when somebody's a fan of yours that you've already been a fan of. That's awesome. Matter of fact, I'm going to put a link in the description below to Clark's music, because I think more of y'all need to listen to it. Also, shout out to Clark's mom, Terry, who's been a fan of these videos since jump and continues to contribute to me making these videos with her donations on Patreon. Alright, if you're new to the channel or this is your first time here, consider hitting that like and subscribe button, because I upload a video every single day, and it's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Alright, bumper.
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
So the first fact you might not know is Texas coach Tom Herman called Baker Mayfield the ultimate competitor. This is from the same guy who threw shade at his punter. Wouldn't even give his punter props, even though his punter went on to win the Ray Guy Award, which makes him the best punter in college football, which says a lot about where Texas football is at right now when your best player is your punter. The second thing you might not know is Baker Mayfield made a bet with NBC sports radio host Dan Patrick about whether or not he could throw 40 touchdown passes this season. This is just before the Kansas game when Baker Mayfield went on air with Dan Patrick. He had 31 touchdowns, and Dan Patrick said if he got to 40, he would score him a meet with Justin Timberlake to try to make him a backup dancer for Justin Timberlake. I'm glad you're still dreaming big, Baker. You know, you haven't done anything like win the Maxwell Award, the Walter Camp Award, the Davey O'Brien Award, the Burlsworth Award, the Walter Camp Award, first team All-American. But you know, if your dream is to dance back up for Justin Timberlake, so be it, dog. He finished the season with 4,340 yards passing, threw just 5 interceptions all season, and 41 touchdowns. So Dan Patrick, pay up. You might not know this anecdote either. In the Class 4A Texas playoffs, when Cedar Park coach Chris Ross took on Baker Mayfield's Lake Travis team, Chris Ross remembers dialing up a blitz that was right through the A-gap. That's right through the middle of the center on either side of the guards. Chris Ross says Baker saw the defender flying at him, slid into the throw, which means he slid into the tackle and got
destroyed,
but still dropped a dime for the game-winning touchdown pass in that game against Cedar Park. Ended up winning a state championship. And Chris Ross had to tip his hat to Baker Mayfield. He says, look, how many kids do you know would step into that throw knowing they're about to get curb stomped, fam, and still drop a dime? There's nothing you can do but tip your hat to the kid. And that's only the kind of play somebody like Baker Mayfield could make. That's not me talking, that's the guy who was coaching against Baker Mayfield. You can't teach that kind of courage, you can't teach that kind of moxie, you can't teach that kind of resolve. The fourth thing you might not know about Baker Mayfield is my man went 25-2 as a starting quarterback at Lake Travis High. And not only did he beat teams coached by guys like Chris Ross, who's on the Boise State staff right now, he also beat guys like Steve Wood, who was the coach at Aledo High when a guy named Jonathan Gray, you know, the 5-star running back from Texas, played against Baker Mayfield and never beat Baker Mayfield. But even a guy like Steve Wood can acknowledge the it factor that Baker Mayfield had in high school. And he, like other coaches who have seen Baker play, continue to talk about that it factor that Baker has that you just can't teach. He's always going to be the best hype man on the field. And that's utterly unique at the quarterback position. The fifth thing you might not know about Baker Mayfield is that Lincoln Riley actually tried to dissuade Baker from going to Oklahoma. Now, at the time, Lincoln was trying to recruit him to East Carolina, where he was the offensive coordinator. This is just after Baker Mayfield had decided that he was going to leave Texas Tech and was going to transfer somewhere. And when Lincoln found out in conversation with Baker that he was going to transfer to Oklahoma, Lincoln actually told Baker, "Are you crazy? Trevor Knight just won them the Sugar Bowl. He's going to be the starter for 3 years." Baker didn't flinch. He said, I'm going to Oklahoma. What's unsaid there is that he's going to play quarterback so well that he runs Trevor Knight off to Texas A&M. The sixth thing you might not know about Baker Mayfield is that when Baker Mayfield was sitting out the 2014 season, he was quarterbacking the scout team, but he was also quarterbacking the scout team while Dorial Green Beckham, otherwise known as DGB, was playing wide receiver for him. So those guys were scout team All-American. And not only were they scout team All-American, they were destroying an Eric Striker-led defense. Eric Striker even remembered it. It wasn't just that he was style on you. It was that he was style on you and then talk to you about how bad he was styling on you. Now, Eric Striker's an All-American linebacker. Do you think that he wanted to destroy Baker Mayfield?
Of course he did.
But Baker Mayfield was just that good. That ought to tell you something. The seventh thing you might not know about Baker Mayfield is he is 34-5 at Oklahoma. Think about that. 34 victories, just 5 losses. At a place like Oklahoma where you routinely play one of the toughest non-conference schedules in the country. I'm thinking about Tennessee, I'm thinking about Ohio State, I'm thinking about bowl games against Auburn and Clemson. And then you factor in a TCU defense you're going to have to play every year, an Oklahoma State offense that can put up points, a Kansas State football team that's never going to beat itself, and then you still manage to come out with 34 wins and 5 losses with at least 1 more game left on the schedule and possibly 2 to get you a national championship. That's special, fam. The eighth thing you might not know about Baker Mayfield is that Urban Meyer not only called him a defensive nightmare, he counted at least 9 times in the film study of the 31-16 loss to Oklahoma, where Ohio State's defense did everything right, the play broke down, and then Baker Mayfield made it happen. The ninth thing you might not know about Baker Mayfield is that Gary Patterson believes that he plays quarterback like a linebacker. As a matter of fact, Gary Patterson's on record as saying he could probably play linebacker because that's the kind of intensity that he plays the game with. And yet, he's so cerebral. He's able to go through his reads. He's able to make accurate throws. He's the most efficient passer in college football history. He's the first quarterback to ever play with a fire in his belly that doesn't disrupt his mental process of having to make the offense run, calling audibles at the line, going through progressions, reading his keys, and then putting guys in the position to make plays. When the play breaks down, taking off, and then still wanting to throw a shoulder at a 250-pound linebacker. And the 10th thing you might not know about Baker Mayfield is that Lincoln Riley believes this is a story that somebody had to write because it doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem like a 34-year-old guy could be named head coach at one of the blue bloods of college football with a quarterback that nobody wanted, a quarterback that bounced from Texas Tech almost to TCU, ends up at Oklahoma, has to fight his way into another starting job, becomes a Heisman finalist for 3 straight years, and ultimately wins the trophy while having an opportunity to play for a national championship. And that is awesome, and that is cool. So tonight, on this Saturday night, I hope Baker Mayfield soaks it up. I hope he soaks it in because I will. And I know you will. Because we're so happy for a guy like that. We want to root for a guy like that. And the things that make other people upset, planting a flag, talking trash, grabbing his Mayfields, just energizes us. Because there was a time when Oklahoma was not that well thought of around the country. For so long, Oklahoma football is what the state of Oklahoma has staked its reputation on. It is what we are known for around the country. We can play football. And tonight, we boast the best player in the country. That's what's up. Okay, so here's the thing. Oboe is not a linebacker. Oboe is a speed rusher. The conference defensive player of the year is best when he's told to do one thing and one thing only.
Destroy backfields.
Oboe Ronquo is best when he's taking on your best pass blocker because he'll beat him, and he invites running backs to come over and chip, which is going to leave somebody one-on-one on the other end. Probably DJ Ward. And he's also that 4th down lineman that helps to keep the linebackers in the middle clean. And because there are physical freaks out there playing linebacker in Caleb Kelly and Kenneth Murray Jr., we were able to see what that would look like if it happens on the regular. And what it looks like is Kenneth Murray stripping the ball out of Kyle Hicks' hands, Caleb Kelly scooping and scoring. I don't know why that's hard, but bump that. Make me defensive coordinator. We're running 4-2-5 with 8 men in the box with a single high safety. With my cover 3, my cover 1, and my cover 6 concepts. When they want to run 21 personnel, we're going single high safety, and we're going to rotate that free safety over the tight end or the slot. When they want to go with 11 personnel, we'll go with split safeties. But we're always going to have 4 down linemen on the field, Caleb Kelly and Kenneth Murray Jr. in the middle to make plays, and that free safety or that strong safety is always going to be running the jewels on you. That means we go run robbers over the middle, fam. In cover 3, the linebackers are going to play the hook, the free safety and the nickel safety are going to play the flat and the curl, and the strong safety and the corners are going to play cover 3. There's room in this concept for 4-3-2. So since in the Big 12, we ain't going to see a lot of 22 personnel, let alone 31 personnel, we're going to see 10, 11, and 12 almost exclusively. A 4-2-5 is the natural base that we need to be in. And because that's the natural base that we need to be in, put Oboe's hand on the carpet, say, Oboe, I don't want you covering flats. I don't want you running after wheel routes. I just want you in the backfield. Plus, this affects our recruiting. Look, man, When you see a guy like Eric Stryker, who's an All-American linebacker, be what Clark Beckham called a designated blitzer, kind of like Obo is this year, and he doesn't get drafted in the NFL, and then he washes out of the NFL, there's a reason for that. And just to be clear, Clark Beckham loves Obo, just like I love Obo, but this designated blitzer thing ain't working, and we agree on that. Recruits watch that. They look at that and see, man, if I play in Mike Stoops' system, I'm not going to play in the NFL. No wonder we're losing all the best defensive recruits to the SEC. They play a traditional NFL style of aggressive defense. But this piss-poor, passive, reactive crap that Mike Stoops is running out here with this 3-3-5 is not only killing my defense, it's killing the defensive personnel's chances to play at the next level. Think about that for a second. The guys that get drafted out of Mike Stoops' defense play over the nose, or they play in the secondary. Through the middle of the field, we watch guys like Tom Wilt. We watch guys like Dominique Alexander wilt. We watch guys like Jordan Evans not go high enough in the draft. We see the freak athletes being put in these positions where they have to be 2 men instead of 1, play their hearts out at OU, and then not get the kind of love that they deserve because the film that you watch on them doesn't translate to the NFL. So it's not just the defense is hurting in the near future, he's destroying the defense in the far future. Look, if I was a great defensive end or I was a great linebacker, I wouldn't want to come to OU. Because you're going to misuse me. I'm going to go where they play a more pro-style look that suits not only my skill set, but gives me great film for the NFL. Which is why you got to play a 4-2-5 with 4-3 concepts in the Big 12. Look, I'm not saying that you can't have 3 linebackers on the field, but I'm saying you're going to have 4 down linemen on the field at all times. I think OU's personnel right now is best suited to a 4-2-5 because we got these bevy of safeties in Khalil Houghton, Robert Barnes, Chance Sylvie, and Double Tray out there that could be studs, and Parnell Motley, who's proven that he's got All-American potential if he can just get his head on straight. So no, miss me with this 3-3-5 nonsense. It's not helping anybody. Make me the defensive coordinator, or hire somebody that's smarter than me. Either way.
Fire Mike Stoops.
Obo, I love you to death. You're the defensive player of the year. I want you to go in the first round. But the film is showing that you can't play linebacker in the NFL. Because that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to rush. You're supposed to be a speed rusher off the end with your hand on the ground. Or am I wrong? Tell me in the comments below. Also, I want to ask you to sign up for the newsletter for 2 reasons. 1, you get my email. So you get to send me questions or thoughts or opinions or whatever you would like to talk about. And from those questions, thoughts, and emails, I'm going to start putting together mailbags beginning on Monday of next week. So if you got questions, thoughts, opinions you want me to take on, feel free. The second reason is I give away free stuff. And if you support me on Patreon, Super Chat, sign up for the newsletter, you're more likely to get that free stuff. All right, if you like the videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow. Deuces.